What's up, Anand?
What's going on, drama? Just me and you. Dee's maybe he's at the ports trying to.
He might be at the
handle
ports
tariffs.
negotiating. He might be driving a boat.
It's all possible.
Well, the good news is for all of our listeners, it'll be a very peaceful episode, and there will be no arguing.
No, me and drama are friends.
We get along very well. Also, Anand, it's a huge. We're coming up on a big weekend. It's both Coachella coming up this weekend, as well as the Masters.
Yeah. Are you going to Coachella?
I think I'm going to go for a day. What about you?
No. This year, I think I'm sitting out.
Tapping out? Yeah, I'm thinking about going Saturday.
For Revolve?
Yeah. No festival.
Who's performing there?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
I mean, it'd always be fun. They always put on a great event. So
it's probably good. So much easier. Also, just a really easy way to see all the friends. And I won't deal with the festival. And just go see everyone and say hi, probably.
I do feel maybe it's because of our age. Stagecoach has a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I think I might try that too, actually. I think it's our age. Yeah.
Like I know Hav and the boys are all going to Coachella, but they'll probably hit Stagecoach too. But I know people in our age group that already have plans for Stagecoach.
Yeah, and it's also like a pretty good lineup. I mean, there's some like more pop people there. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'd be curious what Stagecoach crowd looks like. Like maybe there is a lot of young people there, but I do think that LA people, it seems like the trend is the slightly older crowd, the old Coachella crowd is very much transitioned to Stagecoach this year.
Yeah, they graduated.
Right.
And the pricing's probably, I don't know. I haven't looked at
I haven't either.
Houses. I'd be curious if it's now creeping into Coachella pricing.
You would think that it would. But I think houses are a little cheaper this year.
When does Revolve say we have to do Coachella and Stagecoach?
I know. I'm surprised they don't this year. Do we know that they're not?
I don't know, but I know they're doing something Saturday, as you do too.
At Coachella, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have. I mean, I saw Risa post a thing on her close friends that was like their schedule, and it was nuts. It was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you would think they would probably add it to their menu.
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like this year you would think there would be quite a bit of brand things, but I don't know. I have to see it. I'm just guessing. But when you look at that lineup, it's like a full. I mean, it's not like random country artists.
Is Post Malone Coachella or Stagecoach?
Coachella. He's headlining Coachella.
Got it. And Green
Which is
Day.
funny. I mean, I know we've told this story on the pod, but I just have to tell it again. Is like I forget what year, but probably like 2013 or 14, we invited Post Malone to his first Coachella. He came, he drove out there with his manager. They came straight to our house that we had rented. And I have a really incredible picture of Post Malone with jeans and tennis shoes on, but his shirt off, getting his first ever massage.
Yep.
Because one of the things that we used to do is like we'd have the pool, have drinks, we'd have a massage lady come, we'd whatever, like this nice little Coachella vibe, this thing that we would do. And so it's Post Malone with no shirt, jeans, and sneakers on, getting his first massage. And then they went to Coachella. And I remember at that time they slept on our couch, and he was making his rounds. Like they were trying to get into all the events and stuff just to meet people and, try to meet artists and stuff. And now he's headlining Coachella. So it's truly the full circle moment.
That's a real LA thing, right?
Yeah.
Post Malone slept on the couch. I remember waking up at whatever time and he was sleeping on the couch. And, he wasn't, obviously he was Post Malone, but he's not, global superstar Post Malone.
No, not even close. It was like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like, oh, look at this cool artist kid that's going to come sleep on our couch. It's kind of random.
It's like a DJ just like randomly sleeping. Like, yeah, he's the homie.
Right. Exactly.
But I obviously don't know him like you and Dee do.
Mm-hmm.
But from what you guys say, he's still super nice to you guys when he sees you guys.
It's as if nothing ever happened. The way that he acts.
Yeah.
It's like nothing happened. It's like he was a DJ and he still is a DJ. And it's just like, what's up, dude? You know, the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. He's one of the handful of people that he's just one of the nicest people on earth. Great kid. But I mean, geez, it's just, I think we've told this story before, just like I was trying to find the picture. I was going to hold it up to the camera, but I couldn't. But we've told the story before, just in terms of like, you know, how big he got and how interesting it is. But him headlining Coachella, I think, is like the full circle. I mean, even thinking then of like them going around to try to get into parties to meet artists. Like I remember them saying like something about like, oh, there's this party and A$AP Rocky's performing there. And, you know, I think I know his manager, maybe we can meet him, you know, whatever. And to go, if you would have told them then that you'll be headlining the entire festival, I don't think anyone would have believed it.
No one would have guessed it. And I'll never forget, we did the Reckless Post Malone party at Bootsy Bellows.
Right.
And he still wasn't Post Malone, but White Iverson had already taken off.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Kylie had posted it on Snapchat.
Yeah.
And even the H-Wood guys were like, why are there like 500 people outside the club?
Right. Right.
Like no one understood that this was bubbling.
Yeah. And that was at a time too. Remember her Snapchat was like the artist maker.
Right. Yeah. She was making artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Famous. It's cool.
So, you know, what are you going to say?
No, I just said it's cool that we got to experience it from, you know, ground zero.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's been a fun journey.
Literally ground.
Literally. Yes. Yes. And then, like I said, also, so we have all that stuff coming up, and then the Masters, you know, which I think I'm still learning like golf, you know, obsession culture. Because to me, I think it's all cool. I think the biggest thing about the Masters that's so cool to me is that all of the players can play in it. So the live guys will be there, Phil Mickelson, all those people will be competing. And, you know, it's a shame that used to just be the norm. And now it's, you know, a really rare occurrence. So that'll be really cool. But I know that to like true golf fanatics, this weekend is like it's the Super Bowl. It's the everything. It is the biggest competition in golf. So.
Yeah, no, so I had really bad sleep last night for no reason whatsoever. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So I wish I had a story to tell that like, this is why I didn't sleep.
Right.
So it was 6 a.m. I have ESPN on in the background, just trying to like fall back asleep to get any sleep. And there's this story that, you know, they do those like feel good stories.
Yep.
On ESPN.
Yep.
And this guy, Rafael Campos, he pretty much was going broke. And because he couldn't, if you don't make a cut, you make no money in the PGA.
Right.
So you have to get to Saturday.
You know, you paid for your travel. Like you're actually in the negative.
Yeah, you don't have sponsors.
Right.
Right. So he said he was in the whole 100K trying to fund his dream of being a PGA golfer.
Right.
And his wife's pregnant, has a kid on a Monday. And it's pretty much his like Eminem moment. Yeah. There's this tournament in Bermuda.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it starts. Yeah. And his wife gives birth on Monday. He leaves the hospital Wednesday, has an overnight flight to Boston, then to Bermuda from Puerto Rico. And it's his last shot. Right. He wins the fucking tournament. He wins $1.2 million and gets a nod to play in the Masters. Wow. And so he'll be in the Masters this week.
Oh, so
I was just listening.
This is a current story. This is a story that like this is his first Masters.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like a story that like of something that happened in the past.
No, he missed like 14 straight cuts until that tournament and then won it.
Holy shit.
And had he not won it, he would have lost his PGA card from what I kind of gleaned from trying to sleep.
Right, right.
So this was it.
That's crazy.
And now he's in the Masters.
What a feel-good story when you have insomnia to, now you're tied in. Now you're going to be looking for him.
I'm rooting for him. Yeah. I want Campos. I'm all in on Campos.
Yeah, I feel like, once again, I don't know that much about this, but I feel like there's a lot of, that's a pretty like dramatic story with the childbirth and all that, but there's a lot of like, I think the way golf works, because there's so many golfers that get a shot. Like, on Thursday when a tournament starts, there's a lot of people before the cut. And so I think there's a lot of people that are like fighting for their tour card and like, or getting accepted to a certain tournament, or like, it's really make or break for all these people that you don't really know those stories, because you just know the stories of the big guys. And I think it's common that like they're fighting for their life and you don't even know it.
Yeah, it's similar to tennis too, I think. When you don't have guaranteed contracts, like if you're in the NBA, you have a guaranteed contract, right? Even if you're a scrub, you make $1 million, right? Like, so.
Yeah, it's like as if like the dude off the bench on the Lakers, if he doesn't score 10 points tonight, he's losing his NBA card.
Right.
But you don't even know that's happening. Like that's happening, I think, a lot. Or people are winning like, smaller tour wins that are getting them access to these bigger tournaments. And like, you don't know any of that. That's why, they show a little bit of that on Full Swing on the Netflix show.
Yeah.
But I think it happens a lot and you don't know it.
Yeah. If you don't have sponsors, I think in tennis and golf, you're screwed.
Yeah. It's brutal. I think it's a pretty brutal sport to try to like climb the rankings.
For sure.
So either way, I'll be at the Revolve party with the Masters streaming on my phone probably. And
well, hopefully Campos makes it to Saturday.
That'd be incredible. Even if he makes the cut, I feel like that's a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go Campos. But that's it. Oh, here's some other golf stuff. Do you see Trump is just out here smashing? Trump might get an invite to the Masters pretty soon. This guy is just winning club championships, apparently, left and right. He just won the senior club.
He had to share the championship, though, this time. I don't know why.
Which is pretty funny. That's because he tied with someone?
Yeah, but why would he share it?
He's a fair and honest man,
So we have a listener that I'm not going to out him, but he had a buddy that played in the last club tournament.
Yep.
I think it was like 3 weeks ago where he won again.
Right.
And the caddies told the people in Trump's group, like, if you think you're going to beat him, just leave the club. Like, it's not happening.
Oh, right.
When they started the round.
Right. Yep.
And it'll lead into what we're about to talk about.
Yep.
But you're not allowed. He gets it on the look. You play golf. I don't play golf.
Yep.
But apparently, if he gets even remotely close to the hole, they just say, "Congratulations, Trump, Mr. Trump. You got the hole."
Right.
So he doesn't have to do those like 2 or 3.
Which
hits.
is a big deal. Like the gimmies, like the way that it kind of works when you're playing like with the boys is if the ball is within a putter length away from the hole, it's a gimme. Yeah. Now, we don't do that every time, but like let's just say you have a really good shot and it's a gimme and you don't want your boy to blow it. You're not competing and you're like, yo, that's a gimme, dude. Just take the birdie or whatever. But the joke is that like what if my putter's 10 feet long? Like what if what about 3 putters? Like, so there could be a little bit of shenanigans going on. And here's the other thing that I will say is Trump, from watching that Bryson DeChambeau thing, which is the best I've ever seen Trump's golfing on video. Now, of course, you could have always edited it and stuff like that, but he's really good. Like he's not a bad golfer. So is he good enough to go win all these club championships? I have no idea. You really believe he can hit in the 70s if they're not giving him gimmies? 70s is no joke. I think he can. I think he's capable of it. Yeah. He's good. Like, I'm not kidding. You just know as a golfer, like when you watch that Bryson DeChambeau thing, he just has some shots that are good. Like it's old man style, like it's like he's driving the ball super far. He has a really weird swing and all that stuff, but it surprised me. A lot of the shots in that video. So what I'm saying is it's not like it's not like if he shoots in the 90s, but all of a sudden he's winning all of these championships. Like, I think that if you were to like give him an edge, like give him a lot of gimmies or give him a whatever, he could very easily win all these championships. So I don't know. I would love if anyone out there, any of our listeners, anyone else, because I know you have some on it, or you have that guy, but anyone else has any inside info on any potential shenanigans, I would love to know. I mean, how is this guy just uprooting?
So I have a second source, right?
Okay. Yep.
You have to have sources, right?
That's right. We're journalists. Yep.
The second source told me even his biggest supporters are like, he's the biggest cheat in golf. Like, these are like total MAGA guys.
Right.
And they're like, he's just a cheater.
Because how are you uprooting global trade, negotiating with the world on war, and meanwhile winning club championships? Right?
Like, if you're 78, 79 at this point, I think he's turning, you can't beat like a 48-year-old in anything. Like, if I were to play against a 78-year-old basketball player, I probably would beat them.
Right. It checks out. I mean, I will say, as much as I would like to battle you on this one, your reasoning checks out. But it's just wild to think that like you would sort of blatantly Kim Jong-un people, you know, like everyone would know. You know, like you can't do it secretly. I
have two sources, so
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not going to argue with your sources. And I will say, like I said, on the video, he's better than I thought. But do I think that he's just, you know, going out to any club? I mean, there are guys at these club championships that are really, really good. You know, like, it's not like there's people that are members at these clubs that are, you know, have negative handicaps.
Yeah. I mean, and everyone says that it's impossible to keep winning. Right. Like, I know people that have played at these club championships. The one time they won was like the greatest moment of their life. Right.
You don't go on a multi-win.
Win every time.
No, you don't. Well, hey, Donald Trump does. So it's just wild. It's just, I mean, where do we want to start now that we're in Trumpville?
All right, let's get right into it. This is meat and potatoes. We wanted to have a little like kind of lighthearted banter before we get into what's really going.
I'll say this is a good episode to do this because there would be a high risk of a U and D argument around these topics. And so now we can just rip through them peacefully, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So where do you want to start? I mean, the market futures are already fucked.
Yeah, the futures have corrected a little bit since the open. So the futures started at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Yep.
And the S&P was down 5. So just for context, the S&P 500 Thursday and Friday was down 10%.
Yep.
And it was down 5% at 3 p.m. right at the open. So you're talking between Thursday and Friday, it was a $6 trillion loss for anyone who held anything in the S&P 500.
Right.
And then it would have been 10. Let's see where it corrects. I've talked to many people in the last 72 hours that were new Trumpsters.
Right.
That said, you know, this is the guy that understands, as flawed as he is, he's a markets guy. He's a business guy. He's going to do what's right for the capital markets.
Right.
They've all turned on him 100%. Actually, 99.9% with one of our co-hosts not here.
I wonder what the general, because like, I don't know. I haven't had those type of conversations in my life. I did see the one flawed contribution to the stats I did watch the All In pod on Friday where they seem still pretty gung-ho.
No, only Chamath, no.
But Friedberg even too, right?
No, Friedberg he has a 4.5 minute rant. You could pull it up on Twitter,
right?
Where he basically said this protectionist tariffs are terrible for innovation And then he also brought up, which I thought I didn't even know until I listened to that pod. He said China is basically eliminating IP infringement.
Right. I saw that.
They already have the blueprint for all our goods because they make it all.
Right.
Whether it's iPhones, Nike, Microsoft, you name it. And he's like, you could sell Microsoft Word for $5.
Right.
Because they already have the blueprint.
Right.
Whatever materials Nike does, which makes it the performance brand, they already have the blueprint. And they're like, whatever, we'll sell Nike goods to Turkey and say it's Nike.
Right. But here's my question, right? Here's my honest question as someone who's trying to just look for the truth here isn't it true that our tariffs are fucked? Like the deficits on all these countries are negative in our way to us.
Yeah. So the counter is basically American companies sell to all these other countries and are making it up for the American economy. So Microsoft sells services, cloud computing globally. Apple sells iPhones globally.
Right.
But
what justifies the huge difference in tariffs?
I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right. So that's the only thing where here's my question. Isn't there? So I hear you, but if it's unfair and uneven, that's not ideal.
Is it unfair if American companies, there's no $3 trillion companies in anywhere in the world.
Right. But if you're winning despite it being unfair, it doesn't mean that it's not unfair. Right. Like if the number's off, the number's off.
Isn't that the cost of doing business?
What is?
Meaning, okay, fine. You pay a little more in tariffs with a certain company, but guess what? Nike's selling God knows how many billions in America.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
have you seen the Dave Chappelle skit? I don't know when he actually put that out, but he was like,
I didn't.
It came up on my social media, and it was like, he's like, we don't want these jobs. We don't want $9,000 iPhones. Keep them in China. Keep them everywhere. We don't want to pay 3x for our Nikes. We don't need this. And I feel like comedians can simplify things in a way that anyone can understand.
Right.
And I think Chappelle did it.
But look, I just want to ask you questions. Okay. I'm not trying to argue with you.
Let me ask you questions. Yeah, I'm glad Dee's not on.
If our tariff rate is 5% and somebody else's is 30, isn't that just unfair? Like, what is the justification for that?
So I guess what is the end goal other than ego? Because America has been the superpower for the last, 60 years.
Right, but just fairness. That would be the goal.
No, here's where it really unravels. So America basically, if this happens, let's see, right? We have a few days. April 9th is the day where the tariffs go. Mm-hmm. If you go after all your allies, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, they can just cozy up to China and say like, all right, cool. We're done. We're done with America. Europe can do this. Europe could do this too. If Europe flips and goes to China, global trade has changed and America is an isolated place.
Right. So listen, I hear you on all this, but I'm trying to get somewhere and I can't get past the first part, which is there any, and it's okay if the answer is no, but is there any reasonable justification for the numbers being so imbalanced?
I think because we come out net positive in economic growth. But
wouldn't we come out more net positive if the numbers were equal?
Yeah, that's a 50-year plan. So I'm not going to be alive in 50 years.
Right. But okay. So let me ask you this. Can we agree that the numbers are unfair and there's no,
the numbers are imbalanced, but the brute force he did it is what's shocking.
I know, but you keep fucking on and listen. I don't want to I don't want to argue with you right now. I just answer my question. I know that the way and the style and I get all that. I'm not asking that. I'm just saying, is there something I'm missing? I'm being dumb here. Is there something I am missing that those numbers actually aren't imbalanced or unfair?
They're imbalanced for sure, but we benefit net positive no matter what.
Despite the unfairness.
Yes.
Okay. So then my question, and I'm literally just asking you, I'm not trying to.
US dollar. Look at the US economy. Look at foreign direct investment. It's all here.
Right. But doesn't it kind of
give me a benchmark. Give me a benchmark why Cambodia needs to have balanced trade with us.
But let me ask you a question. And keep in mind here, I really want you to know this. I'm not trying to get you. I'm not trying to lead you anywhere. I'm genuinely asking you questions as a friend and someone that I know knows a lot about this stuff. Isn't that similar to like us going to dinner, let's say a couple of years ago, me and you with a couple of friends, and me saying, Anand, you just made a boatload of money from your investments. Dinner's on you. And then the next time anymore. Right. That's why I said a couple of years ago. And then, I'm kidding. And then the next time, hey, Anand, drinks are on you. Hey, because it doesn't matter because you're coming out net positive from me anyway this year. Like, isn't it? I'm just asking, isn't sort of fair?
So I think what you're
and taking advantage is taking advantage.
But if you play the long game, you still win.
Okay. So great. So I agree with you on that. So my next question is, what if this is such a blunt, bold, absurd, crazy move that he is able to balance that imbalance in a pace that maybe was a 50-year job that could get done in a year? What if, or is that not possible? Like, what if we're just in maximum discomfort right now because the whole world is caught up in a negotiation posturing? But what if the markets are ripping in 6 months or a year or whatever, and we did 50 years of work? Or is that not possible? And that is a genuine question.
So I'm 41, so I've lived through in adulthood, the great financial crisis, and obviously COVID 2020, which were two like black swan events. What happens in these scenarios is there'll be pain in the markets, and the markets will end up ripping. Mm-hmm. Whether it's this week, next week, 2 months, 3 months, don't know.
Right.
I can't predict that. What I do believe is Main Street gets left further behind. You can't build the manufacturing capacity in America to get these jobs back. So all he's doing
but none. You don't think any?
Some, but it's going to take decades.
Right. But don't you think if we're talking about this being a 50-year plan and he can renegotiate this thing in 6 months, you just sped it up. So a kid, I mean, I'm trying to understand the reality here. If a kid is 14 years old, he will have a job when he's 18, 19, 20, when he otherwise wouldn't have because it would have taken 50 years to negotiate all these things.
So I think what happens is the 10 years already down, I think under 4% as of right now, 9 p.m. or whatever, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And they're going to bully the Fed, cut rates, and markets will come back and they stop crashing because the economy is actually strong.
Right.
Which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
We when COVID happened, we all ran businesses then. It was like, we had no idea what was going to happen.
Right.
Great financial crisis. Similar. We couldn't get paid by our vendors.
Right.
And this is like nothing's going on with the economy.
Right.
And we're in this, like, they said hedge funds had the largest margin calls since 2020 of March on Friday.
You know what's crazy to me is that so many, the saying, buy the rumor, sell the news, right? This was an event where nobody, essentially it would have been backwards. It should have been sell the rumor, right, on tariffs. Right. And nobody did it. Like nobody fucking did it. Everyone thought it was a complete bluff.
I think Warren Buffett did. Yeah. We saw that.
Well, a couple of people did. It looks like JP Morgan did. A couple of people did, or Jamie Dimon, I mean. But you know what I'm saying? Like this, it's kind of rare that since I've been paying attention to the stock market, it's been kind of rare that people have not believed such a statement of fact. This is what I'm going to do on this date.
Yeah. So like the investors that I know that are in a stratosphere that I'm not in.
Yeah.
They all can't believe it.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It seems like nobody can. Look at the market. The market shows that the market didn't believe it. The fact that even futures, I mean, hopefully, things recover, but the fact that after the way last week played out and that futures are down for Monday is like really nobody believed it.
No one believed it. And I think that the scary part is that the uncertainty is going to persist. So in my opinion, I think M&A is pretty much shut. Fundraising, if you're a private company, unless you're in some unique business or AI,
right,
shut. IPO market, shut. Because even if he gets through this next couple weeks where he brokers some deals, no one wants to deal with uncertainty. That's the last thing any capital allocator wants to deal with.
Right. Look, I will say, this is why I was asking you those questions, because I was actually asking you questions to test my theory. And my stance, not my theory, my stance as of today is I think everyone is mega panicking. And I think it's reasonable. I'm not saying like, hey, I'm Mr. Cool, Calm, Collected. Also, I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars in the market or trying to do an IPO anytime soon. But I think this is a very wild, bold negotiating strategy, bullying. Like, I think this is as Trumpy as Trump gets. But I do think that the intention is correct. Now, I don't know how all this shit works, plays out. So does it actually work? And do we end up cutting 20 years of work into 6 months because he's able to renegotiate and rebalance a little bit all of these things? And look, I don't think he's a maniac. I don't think that like he wouldn't settle for like closer to fair on a lot of these things. But
if you were to, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just do we end up doing 20 years of work in 6 months, having a way better balance? We do have more jobs offered in the country because there are more manufacturing and things being built here. I'm not saying all of it. I'm not saying take it all out of China and it's here. I don't think that's realistic either. And I agree. I don't think people want the 50 cent a day jobs, but I do think that there's a lot of stuff that can be brought here. And, I also have a different perspective because of my hometown and seeing, the last time I told you guys this, the last time I went home for Christmas, I really tried to learn as much as I could about like, why was my city built where I grew up? Why was Cleveland built? And it was all steel and manufacturing and rubber and all that stuff. And then when all of those things leave, you see how a city and a town is just kind of left a little gutted. Like if there's not an industry for a town to be built around, the town just slowly kind of disintegrates a little bit. And then you lose your hope, and then you have opioids, and then you have all this stuff. And I've seen it. And so I do have a part of me personally that thinks that even, I saw how happy people in my town, like thrilled, I can't even explain it, happier than when LeBron came back to the Cavs, how happy they were when Amazon built a fulfillment center in my city. It was a huge deal.
Bezos showed up, right?
Didn't he have a beer? Showed up and had a beer at the local bar, and people were tripping out. And literally, there was a lottery to become an Amazon driver because so many people wanted that job. It was such a coveted, like, wow, there's this new thing. I could be a driver. And there was a lottery to be able to get accepted to have that job. And seeing that personally, seeing family members enter that lottery made me realize that a little bit maybe goes a long way. It's not about all the manufacturing from China. So anyway, look, I'm not trying to go on some sort of rant here about virtue signaling here. I'm saying that what if what if in 6 months we settle on a lot of these tariffs that are a lot more fair? We see that there's a roadmap over the next 10 years to a lot of jobs coming back to this country, or a lot more, being created. There are manufacturing plants and things being built, and the market is ripping and the whatever. I just think if that scenario happens, we're all going to be like, shit, we panicked for nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. No, there's definitely, it's not for the opposition of Trump to take a victory lap yet.
Right.
Because we don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
Like he may cut it. It's really China is what he's signaling.
Yeah. China's the worrisome one to me, because I think they want smoke. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of the other people you can bully. I think China's going to do their best. I mean, their market's down 10%. I saw in our group chat, but, today. But I don't think they necessarily have the leverage that it seems that they do. I think they have a lot of leverage. But my point is that seems like the scary one.
That's the problem, right? They have the time.
Right.
Because I can guarantee you every Republican House representative and senator that's up for every Congress House is up every 2 years. Every senator is up every 6 years. They are shitting bricks.
Right.
Because they're going to go back to their town.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for them. But man, if they get some traction before that, and even to your point, like, let's also just be realistic. Maybe they don't even really get traction, but he did it quick enough and early enough in his term that they do lower interest rates. The market does rip, even if it's not totally justified by the time the midterms come around. To me, this feels, look, we've both been in plenty of deals and we've both done plenty of negotiating. And if we freaked out and lost our shit every time somebody seemed really firm on their stance or sent an offer that was way below what we thought, we would be out of the game because we'd be depleted and we would have lost our mind by now. I mean, this is such a normal thing. Now, no one's ever done it that I know of on a global scale to just fuck up and just be able to sit and watch the economy get crushed. But if I'm just looking at it from like a pattern recognition standpoint, we're so early in the process. I don't even know what's
the pattern recognition part that I see is, look, we're all experiencing pain in the stock market, whoever's in it, and it will come back. And it's a matter of time.
Right.
The problem is I don't know about Main Street, and everyone says he's the Main Street president.
Can I ask you how, actually break it down for me, how Main Street is getting screwed by this?
Because manufacturing capacity can't scale at the pace that you would need to make up for all these trade deficits. So meaning you can't make iPhones in America. It takes a decade.
Right.
You can't just make NVIDIA chips here.
But what do you think Apple's building when Apple says they're investing $500 million or whatever into?
Yeah, it takes years.
Right. So, I mean,
it's not like you can do it overnight is my point.
Here's what I would love to ask Main Street is, are you willing, because look, at some point, if you have to fix this trajectory, there's going to be either a painful moment like right now, or you're going to have to slowly navigate it over the course of 20 years.
The thing that really struck me in January was when Steve Cohen, who legendary hedge fund guy, worth $20 billion,
right? Larry
Fink, head of BlackRock, they both said tariffs and immigration control is going to crush the economy because we need both not to happen. We need the cheap labor and we need tariffs not to exist. And they were both kind of right.
Right.
I mean, these are Republicans.
I just wonder, the thing that I don't get here is I feel like everyone agrees that.
Look, I think the theory is right in the sense that we should all be fair, even. But if it's been working for decades, what are we doing?
But I mean, I think if you take it all the way down to the fact that our country is fucking broke as shit, I don't know that it's actually working. It's working for private companies.
Well, it works because everyone will still buy U.S. treasuries. So that's how you fund the debt. Yes, I agree. At some point, maybe China surpasses us, but that's the only other competitor.
I know, but aren't we kind of saying like, look, if we look at our debt, if we look at the outlook and the trajectory that we're going, eventually there will be trouble unless the Chamath theory is right, which is, whatever, fuck it, we're just the leader, so it doesn't matter. But take that theory off the books because
he actually switched.
I saw that. But so if we take that off, because that's just that's a hope. If we play this out in the reality that we know, we are headed for trouble. Like even when you say we're winning, regardless, the country isn't winning. The companies are winning. And the people who invest in those companies are winning. But the trajectory is not a trajectory to get a solution long-term to these problems. And I think that the problem is the way that our country is set up, being a democracy, every 4 years, essentially, you run the risk of this changing. So in my mind, once again, I'm not saying this as like a go Trump guy. I'm saying this as trying to get to the truth is if Trump is looking at this like, hey, in 3 years, there's a chance that there's a Democratic president that comes in that unwinds all of this stuff. And so what I got to do is try to make the quickest progress possible because I actually believe in this strategy so that by the time 3 years comes around, you'd be stupid to roll it back because it's already starting to work. Because the problem is the reason why, I love democracy. I love all of our stuff. I really love it. But one of the really dumb things about it is the fact that every 4 years or 8, you undo the other guy's progress and do your strategy. And then 4 or 8 years, you undo his progress and you try your strategy. So if we're talking about a 20, 30 year plan here, there's no way to pull that off. That's where China has us.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you're coming at from a perspective that actually value that you obviously go back to Ohio a couple times a year and you see how bad it's gotten.
Right.
So like, I don't have that perspective.
Right. And my question to that is, I'm just curious, and I'm going to ask my Ohio people is like, how do you feel? Like, are you willing to take the pain because you believe in the future? Because I know that one of the things about living in any of those small towns is you just feel like no one is looking out for your future. And I wonder if they feel like at least this is looking out for the future of small town America, even if that's in 10 years, at least someone's talking about it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to, if you have cousins that are in their early 20s that just are entering the workforce, how they feel about it.
Yeah, I'm going to ask them. Because that's once again, here's my take. My take is very simply that I think we're still so early in the process. And I think this isn't.
That's the thing. It's a multi-decade process. And he doesn't have multi-decades.
No, I agree with you on that. But I'll say like, even as far as like our own sanity, I would say it's like I think in like 6 months, I'll be able to at least form an opinion of like, that was stupid. That is looking good. That, like right now it's just so early. I think it's wild that he went about it like he's negotiating for fucking leasing a new car and just is like playing hardball with the entire world economy. I think that's crazy. But if in 6 months, all these things look so much more balanced and the economy's ripping and people are building fucking factories and plants left and right, I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, I think there's two good things if you want to play the optimistic role is jobs are fine for now.
Right.
And earnings were strong in Q1. But I will say when you have these types of corrections, if you're a CEO, you have to like strongly look at your company and cut costs.
Yeah, for sure. I saw some charts. There were some charts in our chat about a lot of layoffs.
Yeah, I think I can't imagine. I put this in our Discord. I said, any responsible CEO has to wake up Monday morning and tighten the ship.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
And you don't want to be caught without shorts.
Right. You'd probably like to have a couple shorts right now, if you know what I mean. Yeah, well, either way, fucking wild. Look, I would say my personal message to our audience is, number one, you shouldn't, I know this is easier said than done. Trust me, I know that. But you shouldn't have the type of investments that can't weather a storm. I would never recommend that. So this is a storm. It's not even a horrendous one yet.
I mean,
well, it's not like full-blown recession.
I mean, it's COVID March 2020 and 1987. There's only two benchmarks. So it's a pretty big storm.
Right. But I think, okay, I agree. Whatever. I don't even want to debate that. It's bad. But the point is, my point is, it's totally weatherable. As of right now, it's not the Great Depression. Like, it looks like Anand said at the beginning, like, who knows, lower interest rates, whatever will happen, the market will come back. You shouldn't have investments that can't weather a storm. But I would say, and correct me if you feel differently, but like, it's too early to tell. Like, it's wild. It is absurd. It is fucking crazy, but still too early to tell. And there is a very reasonable chance that in a very short amount of time, things are back to all-time highs. And, maybe
that's certainly possible.
Right.
I'm not debating that at all.
Right.
Ackman, I don't know if you've followed him on Twitter the last 10 hours.
No, I haven't.
He seems to be like a guy in the know.
Right.
And he's saying, I'd imagine a lot of people have called Trump to walk these things back, and he's probably one of them.
Right. Right.
And he was honestly, famously, I know a lot of people have personal vendettas against him. In February of 2020, he said the economy's going to shit. March of 2020, he said long America. He was right on both.
Right.
And he tweeted it. I also go on his Twitter and find it.
Right. I want to add to that too. The same way that you said, Anand, you sort of took a shot at all the people that flip-flopped to Trump. Probably you said that probably a few months ago. Yeah. You know that like all these people just flip-flop. You saw them being like never Trump, and then all of a sudden they're just Trump fanboys. I would like to say, I think anyone that was diehard Trump that has flip-flopped today is an idiot as well, because the guy has been saying tariffs, beautiful word, beautiful. And I'm not saying like no shit. I think this is a surprise to everyone, but you got to stand on your guy. If you were repping your guy when he was saying tariffs and saying all this stuff, you got to ride with him.
No, I agree. It's like
stop flip-flopping, you little bitches.
I agree. It's like Kobe in Colorado. Right. I stood for Kobe.
Right. You got to fucking stand on business.
What was Jay-Z's line?
What did he say?
He had a line on Kobe when the Colorado stuff, groupie hoes stop false accusing it. That's what Jay-Z said about
stood on business.
Kobe.
Whatever he believed, whatever you believe, you got to stand on it. And I'm not even saying this is not a judgment of either Trump or Kobe. It's the point of like, stand on your guy. Like Trump has been saying,
on Kobe.
Yeah. Trump has been saying tariffs since he was running. And if you're flip-flopping because your guy who did what he said he was going to do made your stock portfolio look a little red for a week, you're not really about it.
I agree. I think that kind of represents how most people go about life.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You really see it with politics, especially current
and
politics.
Money, to be honest.
Yeah. And I guess sports. People flip-flop a lot on sports. Anyway,
not as much.
I mean, yeah, they're more. I would say more like athletes or like a new guy to the Lakers or this or that. More like that is what I see. Okay, what else? I mean, we got that was good. Is there anything else Trumpy before?
Well, I think Elon was a good one.
What's going on there? Did he just have a different philosophy, or he said a different opinion?
He said zero tariffs with Europe and then Navarro, who's a politician, shitted on him and said, oh, he's just a business guy. And I will say, from what you read, if you read between the tea leaves of what's going on within the administration, there's clearly two sides.
Right.
And who wins? Obviously, Trump wins.
Right.
But there are people starting to break.
And by break, do you mean that like maybe a little bit more moderate on these issues where Trump seems more?
Yeah, just like
right.
do 10% tariffs. Don't do 45%, 54% tariffs.
Right.
My favorite meme of the weekend was "fuck these penguins."
Yeah, it's amazing.
That was good.
That was just undeniably incredible. The thing that I just don't get, and I know we already talked about it, so we don't have to talk about it again, but it's like, how did we get here? Like, how did we slowly let these other countries ratchet up their tariffs and we didn't? Like, is it sort of because we were trying to have this globalist economy that we
So why didn't he do it between 2016 and 2020 if he thought it was so important?
Well, look, I think a big part of that could have been because he knew this would be the outcome and you got to get reelected. There's a chance he could have done that in 2020 if he would have got reelected. I think that's a pretty strong case. I don't know, but like, you know, you got to think like from the moment you get in, you're thinking about your reelection.
Right.
But I just like, why? Like, why? I don't understand. Like, once again, I want to use the analogy of you or any, like, how many times have you been around? I've heard this a million times. I've been around friends that are much richer than I am. And I've made, or someone has made a comment about them being stingy. And they say, yeah, that's how I got rich. That's why I have money, because I don't spend it on dumb shit. And so like, it feels like we are a rich person that we're like you remember that documentary on 30 for 30 Broke? About all the athletes that just spent all their money and went broke. That's what we feel like as a country. Like, just because we have the biggest economy and we have all this stuff doesn't mean you can just slowly bleed it out and make all of these bad decisions over and over and over again. And just because you're the biggest economy, you still keep spending. Like, I can't understand any valid justification for how it got this imbalanced.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I think the net positive is still there, which is why the U.S. economy is still the biggest.
Which is true. It's just like, but then why did we even get here? Like, why? Like, what was I have to believe that there was some strategy.
Think about it like this, right? Like, during the Bush administration, we got in all these wars. Single goal was to build a military industrial complex bigger than ever.
Right.
And the wars were unjustified. We all know this at this point when you rewind.
Right.
I mean, I just think that's the way the world has worked. And I know you listen to Rogan, Mike Baker, the CIA dude.
Yeah.
He's just like, and I know Rogan has like a conflicting view with him, but he's like, yeah, this is why we are America.
Right.
We blow money on stupid shit, but guess what? We control everyone. That's his point, right?
I believe. I don't always listen to his episodes, but I believe that is a take, and I get that take. I just don't get.
Because like there was that dude, Dave Smith, who's a libertarian.
Yeah.
Was like shitting on everything America does. And then Rogan brought up Baker, who's a Republican, by the way, right?
Right.
He's a Republican. And he's like, this is the cost of doing business.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I just don't understand. Like, to me, there
will be waste. There will be fraud. There will be all this stuff. But guess what? America's still number one.
I know, but why the fuck are we giving away? Like if you're number one and you're like, fuck it, we have some fraud because it's just so big, you're going to have fraud. Yeah, there's some wars and some violence and some shit, but like, fuck it. We're number one. We have the biggest military. Everyone's scared of us. Got it. I get it. But why do all that work and spend all that money and do all that shit to be so dominant and not use it? Like, once again, as business.
Guess what? You know why?
Why?
Because me and you get to go home to our house and sleep at night.
I know, Anand, but that's not my point. My point is this. We know, okay, once again.
I don't fear a bomb coming in to where I live, and neither do you.
I know, but that's just helping my point. My point is, if you have all this power, which means leverage, why give it away? Why give someone, let them tariff us 30% and us 5%? Why? You're the bully. You did all the gross, crazy shit to have all the power and all the leverage. I don't know any business person on earth that knows they have more leverage than the other person and instead does an unfair deal for themselves. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Mike Baker counter.
I just wonder if whatever. I'm doing too much wondering. Anyway, look, here we are. We'll see what happens. We're in the middle of the fucking shitstorm and we'll see what happens. I mean, look,
futures have corrected a little bit, so that's good.
Where are they at now?
We were at down 5. We're at 3.
Okay. We can deal with that. I just hope just for that same America, let's go America momentum that I had as well as Dee a couple months ago is I just hope that over the next couple months, there's just news rolling in of better deals happening. People coming down on that. Did you see that news where Vietnam, said, we're open to zero tariffs. It's not real, but it's hey, we're open to, it's just, I just hope for the sake of all of us that there's just this roll in that the same way our own stock market was blown away that Trump actually did this. You have to believe that all of these other countries were also just as blown away, thought he would never do it. And so now we're going to find out where everyone really stands.
Can I do a tinfoil?
Yeah, please.
I've been thinking about this all day.
Yeah, if you want to do a whole separate podcast, we can just do tinfoil chat.
I've been thinking about this all day.
Yep.
So Trump was the rich guy in New York that never was respected.
Yeah.
Even though he's super rich, he went bankrupt a bunch of times, and people always thought he was a clown.
Right.
He was a reality star.
Hey.
Oh, you are too.
I'm kidding.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now I get your stance.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys just say
we came from the same background.
That he's now the literally most powerful person on the planet.
Yep.
There's no one more powerful than him.
Yep.
And 2 times over.
Yep.
And he's I know I could fuck with all my New York hedge fund billionaires, even though they all kissed the ring.
Right.
And he's I'm going to prove to them that I was always more powerful than you. And you guys are all losing money.
Yep. I like it.
That's my tinfoil.
I like it. But let me tell you my rebuttal is I think he is actually if we want to go the ego route, which obviously, I mean, the guy, everything's Trump Tower, Trump, right? So I don't think that's up for debate. But I don't think
he was never. So hold on, right before you go, he was never respected in that New York hedge fund billionaire world.
Yep. Here's my only take.
He's the man.
My only reason why I don't think that is totally could work is because I don't think he'd be willing to hurt his own legacy just to get back at them. So there would have to be an actual motive where he thinks Trump is going to win in a big way. And I don't think just animosity is enough for him to tank his legacy. I think even if it's from a ego-driven kind of shitty place, I'm not saying it's necessarily amazing, but I think he thinks he can be looked at as the savior of America in 100 years. I think he has a goal to go down in the history books as a president that they talk about as the greatest president, one of the greatest presidents. I think that's what he's shooting for, whether it's he's capable of that or whether
so you give no credence to my tinfoil hat.
No, here's the credence I give. I think that he probably sits.
You don't think he likes that all the guys that shitted on him lost $10 billion last week?
Yeah, I think it's a nice bonus for him. I think he probably sits at night right before bed and says haha, and look at me now, bitch. That's what I think. But I think his motive is bigger. I don't think he'd be willing to tank his legacy to get back at them.
Yeah, it's just my tinfoil.
But I like it.
I had to do one.
I mean, the way that I would give anything to know what actually goes on is, like, what the fuck? I mean, because look, dude, even if you are just purely all good, all altruistic here, the balls that it takes to tank the world economy and have the world
every
country, dude. It's so crazy. And to have everybody,
I think he likes that,
hate you or doubt you. Everybody, like who? I mean, yeah, there's a couple, of course, there's some people. And of course, who was the guy? Was it Treasury Secretary that said it's a Mag 7 problem, not a MAGA problem?
Yeah. And then there's rumors that he wants out.
Right. So, but my point is, like, other than a couple, loyalists, like everyone right now is like, dude, little too far. And like, he's fucking golfing. He's taking 10-foot gimmies. The guy's worried about fucking winning a golf championship.
Do you think his gimmies are right at the bluff or whatever you call it, right before the green, or you think he has to actually get on the green?
I would hope on the green. I mean, if this guy's like 40 yards out and they're like, you know what, Mr. Prez looks good. That's wild. That's Kim Jong-un. That's crazy. Okay. Anything else that's a priority?
No. White Lotus finale tonight.
Oh, it's the finale?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. There's a poly market on who the killer is.
There is. Who's the favorite? Don't tell me any spoilers.
There's zero spoilers because same thing, but it's just a poly market. The highest percentage likelihood is the security guard.
Oh,
the
guy
kind
talk.
of meek. Yeah. Guy talk. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me. I don't know that. Well, maybe it's because he's not the most obvious. Like, I think the most obvious one is like the husband or the
girl, Chelsea, who said she's going to get killed every episode.
Right. But that's, Chelsea, I guess, too obvious.
There's a chance. My prediction was the dad kills the whole family and kills himself.
Right. But don't you think they've already like sort of alluded to that? So that's already too, They do a really good job at writing that final episode so that you're like, oh shit. Like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think, it'll be good.
We'll see tonight. Okay. So White Lotus. And then, like I said, Coachella and Masters this weekend.
I have a shout out
to Samir.
Yes, Samir. I have two shout outs. Samir launched a brand called Smash Kitchen, which is a healthy condiments brand with Glenn Powell, my guy.
Oh, Glenn Powell. You see Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney dating rumors?
Yeah.
Your guy.
The event was Friday. I ran out of steam, so I couldn't make it.
Oh, me too. I feel so bad. Shout out to Samir. I'm sorry, bro.
But Leo was there.
Wow.
Josh Duhamel was there.
A lot of people just that guy's a machine. When it comes to like launching businesses and like celebrity partnerships, and Samir is just on point.
And it's launched nationwide in all Walmart, I believe. I don't know if other stores as well. But, as a person with two kids, they like the sugary ketchup.
I know.
Why not a healthier one?
I know. Thank you, Samir, because I have the same problem. Even like now that I'm trying my best to like slowly eat healthier and stuff like that, it's like things like ketchup are just like, dude, I'm not gonna like. What's my options for healthy?
I didn't know ketchup had that much sugar until the last like 3 years.
It's so much. It kills your diet because I'm pretty big on ketchup, like on things, and like even now, if I want to be like crazy healthy, I'll get like, but I'm lazy. I'll get like cheeseburgers and take the buns and stuff off. But like, you're still just dousing it in ketchup. And so now you're like,
you might as well eat the bun.
Exactly. I'm over here trying to be the healthiest dude on earth with fucking a bunless. Like when I went to New York, I was starving and I was trying to be really healthy. So I ordered cheeseburgers to the room and I just ate the meat and cheese and, but just doused in ketchup. And it's just like, fuck, man, this is so impossible. So Samir cracked it.
Yeah, no, it's good. And then my other shout out before we get to the others is the Los Angeles Lakers showed up at UCLA Children's Hospital. Luka Doncic,
Wow.
JJ Redick, and
dope.
it was a surprise visit. They didn't even announce it because I hit them up because I'm on the board of the Children's Hospital at UCLA.
Right.
And I was like, yo, why didn't you tell me? I'm a Lakers diehard fan. They're like, they literally didn't say anything.
That's
they just
crazy.
Came.
That's cool.
Luka. So shout out to the Lakers. Luka.
That's cool.
But they told me next time I'll find out, and so Mav can get a pick with Luka or LeBron.
Yeah, that's awesome. LeBron went too?
LeBron didn't. Luka did, but JJ Redick went. Yeah.
Come on, Bron.
LeBron went. No, LeBron went. Has been before.
Come on, Bron.
Don't shade.
Come on.
No shade on
Kid
LeBron.
From Akron. I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge. What do we got? Okay, we have comments on our YouTube. Just a reminder to everyone, go watch us on YouTube and talk your shit in the comments. We'll pick our favorites and we'll read them. I got to say, you guys haven't been, you don't always have to talk shit. This is actually a good question, but it's just cool because that's the place where you can comment. So group chat news on YouTube, go check us out. We have a question. I'm not even going to try to attempt that name. Creed. Can we get a drama book rec list or weekly book recs? We can do something. I feel like the book recs, I don't want to risk getting too niche and boring here, but maybe we could do like a post on our Instagram or a Discord. We could do like a yearly book list or something like that or whatever. Or like, to be honest, I see most of my DMs. So if anyone has like a legit book question, you can just hit me up. But yeah, we'll do something for sure. There's like 3 of you out there who listen to this podcast who love book recs, but the rest of you are bored. Okay. And then shout outs from Lisa. Shout out to Menace from the Woody Show who walked 40 consecutive miles on Monday. Wow.
Wow. That's a lot of miles. Menace.
Do you walk a lot, Anand?
I get 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah, and all my little health things, like the things I follow and the podcast and
separate from working out, I get 10,000 steps.
Right. They're always talking about walking is like super good for you. Well, shout out to Menace. He's healthy as shit, or she. From Carrie, shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Sarah. I just accepted a job with SpaceX. Wow. And so we're both moving to LA. She's done a spectacular job in finding apartments and setting up tours. We're both super excited for this new life journey. I grew up in Ohio. Whoop, whoop. So moving to California, IO, is a dream come true. Drama knows Ohio isn't a great place to live for many reasons. The fat... What? Can you say that? She said the fats are really taking over. Can't wait to live in a healthy lifestyle, be a part of an amazing mission at SpaceX, and live in the greatest city on Earth.
How do you feel about that?
Well, listen, Carrie's she's a smart girl. She's going to SpaceX. I trust her opinion. It's just funny. The fats. But that's cool. I love that we have listeners that work at SpaceX. Maybe we get like a tour or something, like see once you get in there and get kind of settled, if you can send us some merch or like
maybe drama can go to space.
Yeah, send me to fucking space. Anyway, shout out, congrats, and welcome to LA. From David, I shouted her out before, but shout out again to my wife, Taylor. Monday, she celebrates 5 years sober. She's crushing it with her job and taking care of our 7-month-old Mav.
Oh, nice.
She's a superstar and amazes me every day. And she still tries to listen to the pod with me any chance she gets. Shout out to Taylor and young Mav. That's great.
That's good.
From Lindsay, shout out to the pod for keeping me sane and in the know during postpartum. Seriously, couldn't have done it without you guys. Shout out to you, Lindsay. Thank you. And then, 2 more. From Carissa, my baby daddy, Pedro. We refer to group chat as his podcast, as in, what did your friends say about it on the pod this morning? Because of him, I love you guys. Thank you for making us look like pop culture wizards. You got it. And we are your friends. And what's funny is most of our actual friends say the same thing. They listen to the pod and they feel like we talk every day, even though we don't. So
Yeah.
There you go. We're all friends here. And then last but not least, from Sean, shout out to me for doing me. I don't know how the fuck that made the cut.
That's a great.
Jesus Christ, Sean. God damn it. I don't know how you snuck through, but shout out to you, buddy. Okay, well, that's it. Listen, fucking hold on tight this week. That's my advice. And
futures aren't puking as much as I thought from the beginning of the pod.
Okay.
So let's see.
Look, either way, the one thing you can pretty much count on is everything's going to recover. We're going to be at all-time highs. We'll be all right. But
what's crazy is crypto's actually held. That's what I don't believe. I can't believe.
That is true. Thank God, though. Like, why the fuck? What bums me out so much is when gold is like at all-time highs, but crypto is like was more pacing the market. That's so backwards.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you have it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys Wednesday. Let's hope
we're not poor by Wednesday.
Yeah, if we can still afford mics, we'll talk to you on Wednesday. If not, we'll start a GoFundMe. Everyone have a great week.